Hey everyone, welcome back to the Weekly Awakening Podcast. This is your host, Cosmic Colleen, back with another weekly astrology update. This is episode 254, Monday, March 3rd, which was yesterday. We had Mercury moving into Aquarius, and it is going to begin the Mercury retrograde. That is going to be happening next weekend on the 15th. I'm like, wait, is it the 15th this weekend? No, next weekend on the 15th, but we already know that Venus is retrograding in Aries right now. Mercury will sextile Pluto on Wednesday, March 5th. Saturday the 8th, Sun in Pisces, trine Mars in Cancer. And again, so this week is pretty smooth. We had the new moon last week. We'll talk about that a little bit. And then this week is like a really calm energy until we get to the lunar eclipse in Venus, in Virgo next week. So enjoy this calm week. This is a week where we are going to feel creative. We're going to feel light. We're going to feel more energized than we probably did last week, but this is going to be a nice, calm week. Then next week, Tuesday, March 11th, Venus retrograde will conjunct Mercury as Mercury is getting ready to station retrograde. Wednesday, March 12th, the Sun in Pisces will conjunct Saturn in Pisces. Then on Friday the 14th, we have the lunar eclipse in Virgo, beginning the first eclipse in the eclipse series between Virgo and Pisces. Technically, we got a little bit of eclipse. We had a partial new moon eclipse in Pisces. I guess that would have been in Virgo then last year. We had a partial lunar eclipse. I'm going to say it was in Pisces in the fall. And so it's partial, it wasn't full, and the nodes actually weren't there yet. The nodes were still in Libra and Aries. So we got a little preview, I'm going to say, back in September, but this is going to be the real kickoff, and it is definitely going to be a kickoff. So like I said, it's been a calm, nice week in between the new moon in Pisces and the lunar eclipse in Virgo. We aren't yet in that lunar eclipse energy. That's going to really start kicking off at the beginning of next week. So this week, what we want to continue in between this cycle of the new moon to the full moon, the new moon to the lunar eclipse, is if you listen to last week's episode, which hopefully most of you did, or if you're new to this, go back and listen to last week's episode. We have a lot of energy happening in Pisces. We had the Pisces pile up. Planets are going to be retrograding back into Pisces. We had the new moon in Pisces. There was just a lot of new moon Pisces energy. We had Mars stationing retrograde, trining the new moon. So last week maybe still felt a little distorted. I think I feel like more than I predicted, it still felt a little more distorted for the mutable signs than I think I originally predicted. But I think we all still felt a little bit out of it. Though this week, a little bit more together, a little bit more present. And I will say on Sunday night, my Mercury people, my Virgo Geminis, reach out to me, let me know, or as well as Pisces Sagittarius, because this transit was happening with you. I was so tired Sunday night. Like I could have fallen asleep at maybe 5 o'clock in the evening, and I couldn't wait to go to bed. I lay down, I got my kids to sleep early. I laid down at like 8:30 at night, and all of a sudden, I'm so tired, my mind wouldn't shut off at all. I mean, I probably fell asleep. I don't like to look at the clock at night because it makes it worse for me, but I probably, if I had to guess, 1 a.m. And I was like, damn it, this is Mercury conjunct the North Node. A lot of books or some different things I have read about it, and we'll talk a little bit about the South Node today, is one of the things they say that can be not great, even though the North Node when planets conjunct are awesome and it brings new energy. One of the things that can be not so great is that planets can kind of get overwhelmed. And exactly like I said, I was like overwhelmed with thoughts, and not even like good thoughts, like just stupid thoughts. It wasn't even thoughts I needed to think. It was other people's thoughts. It wouldn't even stop. And so there's been ancient astrologers and other astrologers that say when planets conjunct the node that it makes people insane, because there can be this overjuice of the planet's energy, this overjuice. And I'm telling you what, Sunday night, again, I was crying. I was praying, God, please let me sleep. I'm that tired, but I had this overjuice of mental Mercury energy just flowing through me. And of course, I don't remember any of that. And you guys may have seen there's been a little bit of an uptick in my astrology stuff online. Again, when I was out for my surgery, I had all this energy that I was able to put it out there again. I had the energy too, because I had nothing else to do with the hair world, and my life was a little bit simpler for those weeks. So hopefully I can manage to keep that up. But thank you guys. The best way to support this podcast is to rate it, review it, subscribe to it, and send it to a friend if you know someone. This episode is going to be primarily for my mutable signs again, because we're in mutable territory, big time mutable territory right now. So it's my Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces, but as well as my cardinal signs. That's going to be my Aries, my Cancer, my Libra, my Capricorn. You two are going to be the biggest players, especially since Mercury moved into Venus. Mercury moved into Aries. We got Venus retrograding in Aries. Mercury will begin retrograding in Aries. So for those signs, my fixed signs, you guys are left out for a little bit, except for Taurus, because your planet Venus is in retrograde right now. So send it to those people. They're going to want to know these next few weeks what is happening. So like I said, Monday, March 3rd, Mercury ingressed into Aries and will station retrograde in Aries on the 15th of March, the day after the eclipse in Virgo. I will do an episode on about that, but for now, let's just focus about Mercury and Aries. But again, next week's episode will be very dedicated to Mercury retrograde in Aries. So usually Mercury and Aries, our communication, our thoughts, our actions are very fast. So to compound what I was saying about Sunday night when Mercury conjunct the North Node, it then went into Aries, like I'm saying, and the thoughts kept coming, the thoughts kept going. So our actions are fast, our thoughts are fast, we think faster, we move faster, fast reflections. Usually the actions are faster than our thoughts often. I don't know if you know any Aries moons, but usually talk to them if you know someone, not just Aries, they'll do it, but especially Aries moons. They often react, because that's our moon sign. They react faster than they think. So this can be for a lot of us, especially our Mercury ruled people. You want to watch where Mercury is happening. So we still have Mars in Cancer. So we do want to watch, and there's a little bit of a square there, a sign square. So we want to watch hurting feelings, being too aggressive, spazzing out, or really stressing out our body. However, since Mars has station direct, it will be more positive or solution-based or calm aggression or aggression that actually gets something done. Which not all aggression gets something done, but I'm a firm believer. I think I said on last week's episode, like sometimes you need a fight, sometimes you need aggression to get to the other side of something. Like there's certain energy, or maybe two people are too stubborn to see that you need some aggression, and then it seems to move through some energy. Something else that we need to account for is remember, Venus is now retrograding in Aries. Mercury and Aries, and they will come together, and we have a lot to talk about next week. So with Mercury and Aries, becoming too quickly attached or obsessed with something like an idea or someone, okay? It could be just communication when I say someone. It could be, especially with Mercury, it's like communication. Like, oh my God, you guys got each other's numbers and now you're texting all day long and you're distracted and you're not texting other people, you're texting that person or you're messaging them. That's very Mercury messaging. Or again, quickly becoming obsessed with an idea or attached, or, maybe, I know the world's in upheaval right now, but maybe you're becoming way too attached to the news and you're obsessed and you can feel that it's just not feeling good anymore. This will again make us quick with our words, but we won't be explaining things properly. Ready to take action, having our mental drive or mojo back, take no bullshit, mental alignment with a plan, mental action, wanting to be a little bad. When Mercury enters Aries, I feel like there's always this part of us that's like, ooh, I want to be a little bad. Maybe I shouldn't do that, but it does feel good and I'm going to do that. And I love my Aries placements, but you guys are ruled by Mars. So there is something inside of you that is always like, ooh, yeah. Doesn't it feel good to be bad? There is that energy. Now, remember, Mercury, when it retrogrades, will go back and hit all of these degrees that it's now moving ahead in this whole week and into next week. It will then retrograde past all of these degrees. So for my Aries, for my cardinal placements, and for my Taurus, whatever happens this week into next week will replay. Now remember, it could be something very big, depending on where this is happening in your birth chart, or it could be something a little bit smaller than that. So it can backtrack, but it will be something you backtrack to. Maybe again, it's to take a new mental alignment with the plan. You had something this week, you don't have the plan for it. When Mercury retrogrades past these degrees again, you got the plan for it. So on Wednesday, the 5th, Mercury will sextile Pluto. So Aries, Gemini, Virgo, Aquarius, Libra, you guys are going to be feeling this the most. Y'all be feeling this, but in the power of your words, there will be a powerful idea brought up that then will lead to a future plan playing out. Again, the ideas will get a little wonky with Mercury retrograde, but then when Mercury stations direct and moves again, this is 2 more times past these degrees, will the plan actually play out? Or maybe you finally give it to someone with powerful words, and down the road it leads to respect or more street credit. You know, you've been keeping quiet for a while and now you let the person know what's up. Like, hey, I'm about to fuck your day up if you don't stop right now. And they're like, okay. I'm going to respect you now. Using your mental strength to get what you want and need. And this will again play out in the future. The sextile is said to be a promise and the trine is the delivery. So this is a sextile. Like I said, these are the conversations. These are the meetings of people. These are the ideologies that come together. And it's sort of a promise. Like in the future, this is going to be happening. And the trine brings the delivery. So remember that when I talk about these aspects in astrology, the sextile brings the promise and the trine brings the delivery. Saturday, the 8th, the sun in Pisces will trine Mars direct in Cancer. So my cardinal and mutable signs will be feeling this the most, especially my water signs. Here are the themes. Finally, feeling emotionally supported in your emotions or understood and supported the way you needed them to be. Water signs are going to have the drive or the push to get yourself out of the emotional rut. Water signs, y'all are definitely going to jumpstart your life. Emotional conflict will be calm again, understanding the directions of your emotions, learning to go with the flow or understanding the flow, and lots of forgiveness happening. So we love that. So this weekend, the fist won't be up, even though we got Mercury and Aries. It will be more of like, hey, I might say really fast, but you need to know what I'm saying, and there's going to be more healing on that side. Maybe it's just healing within yourself. Okay, now let's get into next week, which is, like I'm saying, the crazier weeks. And honestly, I'm going to say, like I said, these next 2 months are kind of arguably 2 of the craziest months of the year, or intense. Crazy sounds crazy, but like I don't think necessarily all bad, just very shifting. But it will start, next week's going to be crazy. So next week, again, but it's crazy mutable energy. So like I talked about on last week's episode, Tuesday, March 11th, Venus retrograde will conjunct Mercury about to station retrograde in Aries. So Mercury will be in its shadow. Mercury will be about 3 days away from stationing retrograde, and these two conjunct. They will come back again. They will play out again. So whatever happens here, especially for my Venus ruled people, my cardinal placements, and my mutable people, my Mercury, especially Mercury Venus ruled people. So that's going to be Libra, Taurus, Virgo, and Gemini. This is going to be something that will happen, that will transpire, that will play out over this retrograde. So Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Virgo, I believe that y'all are going to be feeling this, like I said, as well as Libra. You guys are going to be feeling this energy and be the biggest players with this energy. So this could happen next week. Exploding conversations that take time over both retrogrades to play out. Feeling a strong rush to complete a creative project, or maybe someone forces the rush into you. Again, we're going to have Venus retrograde. We're going to have Mercury getting ready to station retrograde in the sign of Aries. So that's why there's a lot of the words of exploding, rushing, feelings, running into a past lover or thinking about a past lover. Forced to a middle ground, but lacking middle ground energy. Forced conversations that are way out of your comfort zone, but you feel like you're forced into this conversation. Feeling like you're missing out on something, and you rush to do what you feel like you're missing out on. Rush, rush, rush is going to be the general energy of the transit. Good, bad, and ugly. Be careful when rushing into something, but also know that the flip side of this is that your procrastinating ass may need this jolt of energy that's going to be coming with this, as well as the lunar eclipse in Virgo a few days later. This is important time not to make any rush decisions, okay? this is an important time not to make any rushed decisions. So remember that. This is going to be a time, I'm going to say a third time, don't make any rushed decisions. While Mercury is now technically Mercury's in its station, it's in its shadow period, getting ready to station retrograde Mercury in Aries. So that is always a time. So these next few weeks, these next 5 weeks, don't make any rushed decisions. If you're someone who makes rushed decisions, take a piece of paper right now and say, no rushed decisions, and that's it. That is it. So I'm going to end this episode here. I'm trying to start something new when I have bigger transits. Instead of going on for 30 minutes to 35 minutes, I'm trying to make them like under 20 just to see how, because of course, unfortunately, no one has attention spans and likes long story, long form things. So I'm actually going to be talking about the Virgo full moon lunar eclipse on my next episode. So right now, we're just going to do this episode. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I appreciate this. Remember, rate, review, send it to a friend. I know so many of you guys constantly support me that way, and I greatly appreciate you. We'll be back on the next episode about the lunar eclipse in Virgo. Love you all, and have a great week.